Good morning, Rob. Good to see you. I'm just starting the day with a lot. So I'm gathering energy. It's good to see you. How's it going? All right. Good morning, people. Come on, come on. It's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new day. Come on, come on, people. Come on, people. I usually say cut. All right? It's a new day. And listen. There's a way that you enter the day, and every single thing around you bow before you. Okay? You don't enter a day sad. You don't enter a day worried. You don't enter a day heavy. You don't start the day with all the problems that you have. You don't start a day thinking about the thousands of issues and challenges and I don't know, and problems that you're carrying. You don't do that, right? You start a day light, focus. Okay, that's how you start a day. You start a day energized. You start the day motivated. You start a day enthusiastic. You start a day full of energy, right? You start a day full of ambition. That's how you start a day, okay? That's how you start a day. So when you start a day with energy, when you start a day high, when you start a day enthusiastic, when you start a day with energy, when you start a day with ambition, when you start a day happy and fulfilled before even you do something, guess what? Every single thing around you bows down. And like, yes, I understand that you're in the mood to make things happen today. And that's where I want to take you, okay? That's where I want to take you. So stick there. Today I want us to talk about motivation, okay? I want us to talk about motivation. I heard thousands of things around the topic of motivation. And some people are like, motivation is weak. Motivation is for lazy people. Motivation is not good. You don't need motivation. Listen to me. Listen to me. Boa Pascal, I'm your visionary leadership and self-awareness coach. You and any other human being you know on earth, we need a motivation. Okay? We all need motivation. All right? We all need motivation, and I'm going to tell you exactly how motivation works. Okay? Because some people are like, well, I don't need motivation. I only need discipline. There's no discipline without motivation, as much as there's no motivation without discipline. For you to get in a discipline cycle, you need motivation. For you to keep the discipline going, you need motivation. But for you to know exactly where to get the motivation and how to ignite that motivation, you need discipline. So the title today is Motivation is not for the lazy. Motivation is not for the stupid. Motivation is not for the weak. But the strongest people I know on earth, they have a system to motivate themselves. And that's where I want to take you. So if you're just landing on this page for the first time, good morning to you. My name is Boa Pascal. I'm a visionary leadership and self-awareness coach. I'm the guy who's going to help you to get that powerful, clear mental picture of your preferred future and help you to implement each part of your vision so you can live the life that you want to live. So I'm so happy that yesterday we were talking about how to pay the price to become or to be yourself, right? We talk about the topic of people saying that be yourself, be yourself, be yourself, but they don't tell you the truth. They don't tell you that for you to be yourself at work, you need to pay the price of it, right? So I know so many people who just quit their job because you know what? They say, this place doesn't look like me. This place doesn't respect my values. This place doesn't respect my principle. This place is not a place for me to grow. So I'm going to quit. And they're just left behind them a huge, I'm talking about a big salary, right? So you have to be able to pay the price for you to be yourself. Okay? I'm sad that people just say, oh, be yourself, or be yourself, be yourself, but they don't explain that there's a price to pay. For you to quit a relationship where you have spent like 5 years with a guy or 5 years with a girl, and now you're like, well, you know what, this relationship doesn't matter anymore. This relationship is not giving me what I was expecting. This relationship is not working for me anymore. There's a price to pay, right? There's a price to pay. So in every single area of your life that you want to be yourself, guess what? You want to ask yourself the first question: what is the price I'm going to pay? Second question: am I ready to pay the price? Then you move on, right? But that was yesterday. Today we talk about motivation, okay? And I say motivation is not for the lazy. Yeah? Motivation is not for the lazy. All right. All right, all right. Let's get this thing. Let's get this thing down, okay? We all need motivation to take action. Okay, if there's anyone who agrees with me right now, just show me your hand. Like just or you tap one in the chat box, whatever you want, right? We all need motivation to take action. Okay. Now this is something that I wrote early in the morning, and I don't want to I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so I'm gonna read it to you, and you can write it on your own. The power of our actions always depends on the intensity of the motive we give ourselves or let others dictate us. I'm going to say it one more time. The power we need to take actions, okay, or the power of our actions depends on the intensity, right, or the motive we give ourselves or let other people dictate us. So each time you take an action, actually what is behind that action, how that action is going to be, how powerful that action is going to be, depends on the intensity of the motive that is backing the action. That's why in my personal, and now I have to tell you, in my personal practice, in my personal opinion, the way that I understand and explain motivation is motive in action. Motivation is the motive that I have to take the action that I want to take. I want to say it one more time. Motivation in my practice, motivation in my personal understanding, and the way that I break it down to the people that I know and my client and everyone surrounding me is that motivation is actually the motive behind the action that you take. So each action that I take, I don't just take the action, I look for the motive. Why? Because the intensity of that motive will determine the power with what I take the action. And some of you are taking weak action. Some of you are taking inconsiderate action. Some of you are taking not enough action. Why? Because the motive behind the action that you're taking has a very weak or low intensity. Okay? So When I say motivation is not for the lazy, but motivation is important, is because I do understand that every single person is taking action every single day. There's no human being who doesn't take action, right? I don't care if you're a CEO of a company. I don't care if you're someone who is watching TV for 24 hours eating potato chips. It doesn't matter. You are taking action. And what I want you to understand is that the power of that action you're taking, how powerful is the fact that you decide to sit before the TV for 24 hours depend entirely on the intensity of the motive. And we can have two people watching TV for 5 hours straight with different motives. The first one is, well, I've been working hard like crazy lately and I just want to chill out. I deserve this moment. So what I'm going to do is I choose to sit before the TV and watch for 5 hours straight. Motive. And we can have the second person saying that, you know what, I think that my life is worth nothing. I think that I'm not good to do anything. I think that I don't deserve to be anywhere else than here watching TV and complaining about life and complaining about government and complaining about the fact that I'm not rich and complaining about the fact that I'm not important and the fact that I can't do anything. So I'm just gonna watch TV and die. And those two people can literally watch TV powerfully for 5 hours straight. Wow, because of the intensity of the motive that is backing the action of watching TV. So my job, my mission with you is to challenge you, is to challenge your personal motivation today. And I want to ask you this question. What is the motive behind the action that you're taking? Right? I know that you're going to take some action today. I know that you're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 action. Some of you are going to take more than 10 action today. What is the motive behind or backing each action? Now, because you're going to take action doesn't mean that you're going to take powerful actions. Because you're going to take 10,000 action doesn't mean that those 10,000 actions are actually going to be fruitful.
It's 7 o'clock.
Thank you. So beside the question of how many action am I going to take today, what is the intent? What is the motive behind each action? I want you to ask yourself a question. How powerful are going to be the action that I'm going to take today? The truth of that question is, what is the intensity of the motive that are backing up this action I'm about to take today? Does that make sense? So I'm going to get off now. But before I do, I want to do something quick with you. Okay? So this morning what I want to do is I specifically want to address 3 things with you to help you to challenge your motivation, okay? In each area. And you know me, you know that when I speak, I always speak about family, faith, fitness, freedom, finances. That's it. Those are the 5 most important. They are the 5 most important areas of your life, okay? We're talking about your faith, you're talking about your family, your fitness, your freedom, and your finances. Those are the most important. Right? So whenever I bring an idea, whenever I bring a concept to you, you always want to run that concept through the 5 areas. Okay? So today what I want to do is I want to bring 3 things to you. Okay? I want to bring 3 things to you. The first thing that I want you to watch closer today is necessity. Okay? Is necessity. And this is how I say it. It will measure the level of your emotional commitment toward the things that you have to do. That is necessity, okay? Right? So necessity will measure the level of your emotional commitment on how you're going to show up. Right? So we're talking about motivation. I broke it down for you saying that motivation is the motive behind the action that you're going to take. Okay? So I'm telling you that the first piece that you want to look closer when it comes to motivation, when it comes to motive and action that you're about to take is necessity. All right? So we want to understand what is the necessity of me taking this action. And I'm telling you that necessity is literally the level of emotional commitment you feel to showing up each day, right? Is the level of commitment you feel to showing up each day. Now, I'm talking about what is the level of commitment? What is the level, the emotional commitment? What's the level of emotional commitment that you feel to showing up today in your family? What is the level of emotional commitment you feel to show up in your finances? What is the level of emotional commitment you feel today to show up in your fitness, in your faith, in your freedom? That is necessity. Now, if you think that, well, you know what, it's not that necessary for me to love of my wife. It's not that necessary for me to love upon my children. It's not that necessary for me to love upon my parent. Guess what you're going to do? You're not going to create situation and create environment and space where you actually love them. Necessity. What is the level of emotional commitment that you feel to show up in your job, in your position, at work today? If you feel no emotional commitment toward your task, your job, guess what? You're not going to be at your best. You're not going to be at your best. You're not going to show up the way that you're supposed to show up. So we want to understand the level of emotional commitment that you have to show up, that you feel to show up. Even when it comes to problems and challenges. So many people are having so many challenges. But the question is, do they show up to those challenges, those problems, with a high level of emotional commitment? So let's take the challenge that you think is the highest challenge that you're having right now. Let's pick the problem that you think is the hardest problem that you have right now. And let us ask this question. What is the level of emotional commitment that you feel toward that? And how do you show up? How do you show up? Right? So one of the questions that you want to ask yourself when it comes to necessity is, who am I helping? Right? Who am I helping? You want to connect directly with the people that you're helping. You want to connect directly with the people that you support. You want to connect directly with the cause that you are supporting. Sometimes it's difficult to connect directly with the people that we support. Sometimes it's difficult to connect directly with the cause that we support because we have been doing that thing for ages now. We have been doing that thing again and again and again and again. And it becomes something robotic. It's become something that, you know what, is just automatic. It's like, well, if I'm on a customer service, my job is just to answer the phone and make sure that you're happy on the other side. And we miss the connection, which is, well, there's another human being on the other side who's probably having a problem. So I don't just want to give you a solution, but I want to make sure that you're okay. Necessity. The second thing I want us to talk about is urgency. Urgency, right? By the way, necessity will always speak to the level of your must. All right? You must. What are things that you're looking right now and you're like, I must? If it's not a must, then the level of necessity is not yet high, right? If it's not a must, because if it's something that is dear to your heart, if it's something that you really want to change, we have to get to the must. Like, I must. I don't care what is going to happen. I don't care what I have to do. Ethically, okay? Ethically, I do care about the way that I do things. So, ethically, it has to be a must. Now, second, urgency, okay? Urgency is emergency. That's what I'm saying. Urgency is emergency. It speak of doing things according to the art with a great consideration of time frame. Okay? Urgency is emergency. It speaks to the how of doing things according to the art, but with a great consideration of the time frame. Urgency is emergency, right? So we go to the emergency and then we see all these guys running, rushing, taking patient from the emergency car to the hospital, and they are all over the place, that they are running, that is important for them to rush and to do things faster and quicker as much as possible. But guess what? There is a quality that cannot do things anyhow just because they have to rush. Right? That's why I say urgency is emergency. You want to pay attention to the how, but you want to pay great attention to the when. And some of you, the things that you have been complaining for ages, right now is the right moment to start working on that. Right now is the right moment to start writing down the vision. Right now is the right moment to start executing that one piece of the vision. Right now is the right moment to start changing that one part of that one aspect of your life. Right now. Urgency is emergency. We pay attention to the how, but we pay even a great attention to the when. And the last thing that I want to talk about is pattern. Okay? Pattern is discipline. Come on, people. Pattern is discipline. Okay? I got a privilege to have a conversation yesterday with some good people, explaining them what is pattern and how you can recognize pattern in your life, right? Because that's where the power of personal development comes from the fact that self-awareness, I'm aware of what's going on in my life and I can recognize the pattern, right? So if you go through any personal development and you don't talk about self-awareness and recognizing the pattern, then it's not personal development. All the power of personal development, it is called personal because you can do it on your own. You don't need me to coach you sometimes. Sometimes you don't need me to coach you. You can just do it on your own. But you can only do it on your own if you know how to master two things, self-awareness and how can I recognize pattern in my life? Like, how can I recognize when I'm productive? How can I recognize when I'm not productive? How can I recognize when I have energy to do things? How can I recognize when I don't feel like doing things? And what can I do about that? Because if it's a great pattern, then guess what? I want to repeat that pattern as much as possible. If it is a great positive pattern, I want to repeat that pattern, or I want that pattern to repeat again and again in my life until I die. Why? Because it's a great pattern that allows me to become productive and to achieve the things that I say I want to achieve and to get to the vision faster and quicker as I could have gone. I don't know if I didn't identify and recognize the pattern. If it is not a great pattern, if it's a pattern that's sabotaging your self-awareness, if it's a pattern that's sabotaging your productivity, if it's a pattern that's sabotaging your mind, if it's a pattern that's sabotaging your self-confidence, guess what? I want to destroy that pattern right now. And guess what? I'm not going to destroy it and just fold my hands. No, I'm going to destroy that pattern and make sure that I create a new pattern that is more powerful to help me to achieve the things that I said I want to achieve. So the question is, what is the patterns? Or if you will, what are the patterns right now that you're using? How many patterns are you able to identify right now in your life? What are they? What are those patterns? How many patterns can you identify and recognize? The other question is, I say pattern is discipline. Pattern is discipline. Pattern is discipline. So I recognize a pattern is because I want to create a habit of discipline in that pattern. For me to be here live early in the morning, I create a pattern that helps me to be here early in the morning. Right? I create a pattern that is helping me to be here in the morning. And that pattern could be me waking up in the morning, praying first, spending some time praying, spending some time reading my Bible, spending some time with God, then taking my daughter down for a stroll while I'm talking to her and I'm talking to myself. And getting back here, boom, I have the energy to do this. Drinking some water. So what are the patterns that you are consciously building to empower yourself to do the things that you have to do? Some of you wake up in the morning, you know exactly what you have to do. But because you don't have a specific pattern to support you to do the things that you say you're going to do, guess what? You end the day not doing the things that you say you're going to do in the first place. Can I help you? Can I help you this morning? Like if you've been listening from the beginning, I already helped you, but can I help you a little bit more? Build patterns in your life. You want your relationship with your wife or your spouse to be great? Build a pattern that supports that result. You want to be a better person? Build a pattern that supports that result. You want to become a high achiever at work? Build a pattern that supports that result. You want to become one of the richest person in the whole world? Build a pattern that supports that result. It's so easy. It's easy. You want to go to gym. Build a pattern that supports the result that you want from the gym. You want to become healthy. Build a pattern that supports the result that you want to see in your health. You want to become a more spiritual person. I guess that 4 or 5 years now that I'm coaching people, I've never seen one person when it comes to that one-on-one conversation not telling me that I want to become more spiritual. I want to become more spiritual. I want to become more spiritual. I'm like, what do you do? What are the things that you have tried before coming to me to help you to become more spiritual? Well, I do nothing. Well, how will you become a more spiritual person if you have no discipline in place, no pattern in place to help you to build the result that you want to see? All right, people. Guess what? We can always take this work on the one-on-one. Okay? I love, maybe I'm going to say this and then it's going to be like weirdo, but I've seen so many people rushing into events, like big events, all these high names, like hot names of personal development whenever they are in town. I see so many people rushing to them like, yeah, let me go. Yeah. Most of the people who are rushing to those events, and I guarantee you, 99% of those people are not ready to listen to what those people are about to say. Because there is a preparation that you have to go through before you get to that level and get the message and implement every single thing that they are saying. And most of you are not doing the preparation. You just rush to the great event. And you go there and then you send us a picture on Instagram telling us that, yeah, I've been there. I was there. I'm like, yeah, cool. 3 years later, your life is still the same. All right? So we can always take days to a personal one-on-one setting and help you to become the person that you wanted to be. To become the person that you always want to be. All right? Now you know, people. Now you know. And you know where to find me. So, keep the energy high. Keep the energy high. If you have 1, 2, 3 things to do today, if you have 1, 2, 3 things to achieve today, go and achieve your 3 things. Don't feel guilty because it's only 3 things, right? It's not about the how many things. It's about how you're moving toward the vision. All right? Love you, people. Now you know. Let's go.